Hello, Cozy Detectives, and welcome to Blanket Fort Files. I'm Joy,
And I'm Larissa.
and we're here to report on all things comfy and cozy. Today we have a very fun, very cozy. I am in my cozy attire having to do with our game type
Ooh, you're on theme.
type thing. But before we get to that, Larissa, how are you?
I'm doing well, trying not to drown. We're having really, really bad rain today. So hopefully that doesn't pick up. Do you get thunder out where you are? Do y'all get a lot of thunderstorms?
Not really. Where I'm at is currently snowing. So it is way too late in the year for it to snow,
Yeah,
but it is doing its thing here. But
I
are you
know.
getting pretty loud thunder?
Yeah, so much worse. Like I got my hair done recently today,
Ooh,
but it was like
great.
shaking the walls at the salon, and we were like all kind of freaking out.
I actually love thunder. I love thunder and lightning. It's
Yeah,
kind of like I feel like it also goes with the vibe of today because
cozy. Yeah.
I know I want to like stay inside. I want to play a cozy game. I want to just kind of like zone into my little like Sims vibes world, which is not the game we're talking about, but was probably one of the starts of mine, honestly.
Same. No, truly. Yeah, I really love thunder too. It's just like there's a point where it becomes like too much here sometimes where it like is so loud that it just like makes you like jump out of your skin.
Oof.
And like it started at like 6 a.m. this morning and the car
Oh.
alarms were going off. So it was like, this is
Oh,
not the
yikes.
cozy vibe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit too far, not gonna lie. Like, it's, like,
Yeah.
causing the car alarms to go off?
Yeah. Because it shakes the ground so much that they like, yeah, it's always been
Whoa.
a thing here, just because we do get thunder pretty bad and, like, we're getting into, like, tornado season too, but, yeah, the thunder causing the car alarms has always been a thing, and it was funny because I haven't heard one of those, like, old school car alarms with the, like, 5 different tones that, like, the pattern that goes off, so it was just like, "What is going on?" It was, like, first thing in the morning, and it's just a lot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I, unfortunately I feel, like, better right now, but unfortunately this morning I woke up with a headache,
Oh,
so
no.
I know. I think it's because the barometric pressure change really messes with me, so I got to use that
Oh,
head
yeah, the
compressed.
cap.
Yes,
Did it
and I
work?
it did.
Oh,
It
good.
honestly worked way better than I thought, and I'm glad that I read the directions because it says, like, "Don't wear this more than 30 minutes."
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Right?
people on TikTok wear it, like, all day.
That was what I was thinking. I'm like, "Okay, well, what if I put this on and then took a nap?" Like, that would have
Yeah,
probably been my go-to if I was
and
feeling,
you
like,
would have,
even
like,
worse than I
woken up with,
was.
like, a brain freeze.
Yeah. I only had mine in the fridge because I started getting, like, really paranoid 'cause I was like, "I've never put this cap type thing on my
Yeah.
head. I look like an alien because it goes all the way over your eyes."
Oh, wow, yeah, but I
So,
bet it
I'm
was
just sitting
nice.
there. Yeah, it honestly was really nice. I laid down. I only set, like, a 5-minute timer, and then I would take it off, and I, like, put it back on.
You're all paranoid.
Right? I'm like, "Is my brain okay?" Like,
I don't blame
but
you.
right? But besides that, I did, quote, unquote, "research" this morning for my case file,
Yay.
AKA I played my cozy game. That's
Love
what
it.
my morning was. But anything else from your week, or how was your weekend?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Last weekend, I'll share about when we get to our 2%, because I
Ooh.
had a really good weekend last weekend. But yeah, I spent my morning putting together some playlists, cozy
Yes.
playlists for our cozy detectives to listen to, which kind of, I guess, will lead into a big thing we kind of want to talk about. So this week we announced the
Official.
podcast. Yeah. So it's kind of good to share it with everyone. I know when you're listening to this, you've obviously known about it for a while, but we recorded the first 5 episodes just kind of in a vacuum, not knowing if people were going to resonate at all. It was purely just us chatting. And so, kind of hearing everyone's feedback and excitement for it, I think kind of rejuvenated our excitement for this too.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like one, it was really fun for the first 5 episodes to kind of be in our own bubble of
Yeah.
like just kind of talking back and forth. But I absolutely agree with the like rejuvenating excitement of cozy, because it's been really like nice to see people ask about, where do I watch the podcast or where do I listen to the podcast? And we're like, it's
Mhm.
coming, I swear.
Yeah, they're all excited and they're giving us good ideas too. And like
Mm-hmm.
the playlist was someone was wanting cozy playlists.
Yes.
So this week Joy and I shared our personal cozy playlist, and it was kind of funny. We didn't tell each other what songs we were putting on there. We did it like on our own, and our second song that we put on the podcast was the exact same, which made me
Yeah.
laugh so much because I was like,
It's
we are in sync.
Yes, our first song, I can't remember what actually our first song was, but we both clicked the same second song on the playlist. Like your playlist and my playlist, both number 2 song, exactly the same, which
Yep.
is so funny. And there's a lot of overlapping songs too. We
Yeah.
also have been creating another playlist, which I feel like we can share now. It's funny because it's like a time warp thing, but
Yeah, they'll have heard
no, yeah,
that
you'll have heard it by
episode.
now. But our 90s moms playlist, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
I had so many of those songs already on other playlists because we kind of like pick and choose individually about different playlists. I think you're more the playlist queen than I am.
I'm in my like playlist curating era. Like I do it for a lot of my favorite books, and just like I still need to share them with you, and we'll do this when we do our Nancy
Yes.
Myers episode. But I have specific playlists for each of the three. I call them my big three, the women. And if you're watching, I'm giving Elizabeth James today.
Very much so. So cute. I love
Yeah.
it. I love that you do that. I feel like I'd like to do that more. I feel like that was something. Okay, first bingo card. Something with the Gilmore Girls is that they were very good with playlists and also very good with movies and pop culture and all of that. And I feel like the like vintage vibes of pop culture is where my playlists are, meaning like the 90s and back, because
Yeah.
even like again at this time of recording this, Taylor Swift just dropped a new album,
Oh
and
yeah, like yesterday.
like yesterday,
That's what we're
and
recording.
right, and I just am not as caught up with that, but like
No, same.
ask me about like the Cranberries and I can I can chat about
Exactly. Yeah.
that stuff.
I just because I don't listen to the radio ever. So other than like a few snippets of songs like on TikTok or Instagram, like
Yeah,
I'm really behind on current music. So you and
exactly.
I are very similar there. But yeah, I've really started liking to curate playlists, but it's kind of funny because I don't listen to them as much as I want to because I'm always listening to audiobooks.
Mm,
Um, but there's something like nostalgic about it because it feels like kind of making like your mix CD, and it would like you would have one for certain
yes.
occasions, like this is my getting ready one and this is my road trip one, and so I kind of like do that with playlists. So yeah, we have a 90s mom coming, or that one's already out. I'm working on a couple summary ones
Yay.
today, which is funny because like where the theme today is very summary, and this is I think coming out like either very, very end of May or even June. So talking about it snowing where you
I
live is
know.
like
Boo.
mind boggling.
I know. To be fair, the outside world here is so wild that like the time that this episode comes out, it could literally be hailing. Like it is just like so up and down, which is
Truly.
why in the springtime sometimes I will get migraines when it fluctuates too much.
Yeah.
But I am hoping that it will be one of our last times that it will snow. Because I think it's also just the brightness of it that messes with my eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
Right.
just like I don't, especially for me, like if we ever get snow where we do, it usually just happens in February. And like today and yesterday were a lot cooler, but we've been fluctuating in the 90s the past week. So when you sent me that picture of
Whoa.
it snowing, I was like,
Yeah. I was
because
like,
we're
I
like,
must text Larissa.
and we're really not like that far away. Like I've driven to where you, not like where you live, your house, but like where you live, and I could
Yeah.
do it in a day. So we're like, realistically, we're not that different, but like our just like environments are so different.
Hmm.
I know I'm gonna, I think, struggle a little bit when we get to our cozy summer episode, just tease things a little bit, but summer's kind of hard here because it's just like hot and I never want to do anything. So
I get that.
I'll do my tips for a cozy summer will definitely be more aspirational.
Yes, I feel that. And if anything of a playlist for me always like has the vibes of a beach playlist versus like
Mhm.
I'm in the mountains playlist for me. So I feel
Right.
like it's going to be so fun to see what we curate in regards to that.
For sure.
But because it is, I think it's flurrying a little bit, but it's not too bad. But I am ready for our cozy case files.
Yes. You wanna tell them what our theme is for today?
Yes, today's theme for our Cozy Case Files is Cozy Island games. So Larissa has a Cozy Island game, and I have a Cozy Island game, which are different games that we are going to talk about. I have not played your game, and I am not, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe you've played my game
I
either.
have not, so I'm really excited. I had actually never even heard of your game before you had mentioned it, so I'm really excited to learn and possibly get it myself and have something to play all summer.
Yeah, I know. I need to get, I don't have, because your game is mainly on the Switch,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is on PC, but also can be on Xbox, but I don't have a Switch. So I'm, I'm trying to come up with reasons why I need one. So I feel like this might be the reason. And it's
Yeah,
one of
I'll convince you today for sure.
right. It's one of the games too where I am somebody kind of talking overall about video games where if I'm in it, I'm in it. Like I am here. My game is called Coral Island,
Love
and
it.
it is an island themed game. Basically, it is very Stardew esque, but hot take. I think I might like it a little bit more than Stardew.
Ooh, which I've actually never played Stardew Valley before either,
Oh,
so
oh, okay. So
I
I'll describe it a little bit more.
perfect.
But for our cozy detectives, if you've played Stardew, it is going to feel similar, except for I feel like this is a little bit more fleshed out, maybe is the way to
Okay.
say it. Where Stardew Valley is a farm sim style game where you basically get gifted a farm, and in Coral Island you also get gifted a farm, so that's kind of
Mhm.
how you start. You have
Okay.
your little house and then you create your farm. You have like barns and animals, and it goes through the seasons of the year, so there's summer, spring, fall, and winter, and then it just kind of circles back.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
some people on Stardew, also, that would be a great comment. What is the, if you play Stardew or if you have played Coral Island, what is your longest game? Because Stardew, some people are in like year 6 or 7 of
Oh,
that game.
wow.
Hmm. So it is very fun. There also are, I guess it's like achievements to get because there's other
Mhm.
people on the island that you go and you talk to. You kind of can create like friendship relationships with. And
Oh,
then in
cute.
Stardew, as well as in Coral Island, you can like get like a little trinket, and then you could be like, okay, and now we're dating. And now
Oh,
I'm going to get married to this person.
that feels
And
very Sims too.
yes, it very much so is. That's why I kind of thought about that earlier. But I think mine started with The Sims where like when I'm in it, I'm in it. Like that is my game. I am playing this.
Yes.
This is
So
where
many
my life is.
hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was okay, first tangent is there was a, I don't know, I guess family is how you'd say it. Like when you would like first start, it's been a minute since I played The Sims, but when you would first start The Sims, there was one house. If anybody remembers this, I don't know if the houses on The Sims when you first entered them to like first start the game, if they were, I don't think they were randomized. I think it was like each game had like a number of
Starting
families that you start
house.
from. Yeah. And the family that I started with, the dad, no matter what I would do, would not get out of the pool. Like it drove me crazy. I must have restarted this family like
Oh,
6 or 7
no.
times, and I was like, "I am going to put things everywhere." I tried to, like, lift him out, like, you know, you could, like, move them,
Mhm.
but not when they're swimming. No, you cannot move them when they're swimming.
Were you ever, like, evil and, like obviously, probably not because that probably triggered you, but do you ever, like, take the ladder out? 'Cause there's some really vindictive Sims players where
Oh, really?
they want the Grim Reaper to show up, so they'll, like,
Oh, no.
build a pool and they'll go swimming, and then they delete the ladder and just, like, watch the chaos.
Oh, no, I was adding ladders. I added a ladder to every spot in this pool that would let me add a ladder. I was like, "You get
Yeah.
out of this pool right now," and he wouldn't, and so I was like, "Well,
Oh, no.
he is not meant to be in this family, I guess." But no, I very much so would do the, oh, I can't think of it right now, where you would, it was like the time reverse one where you could like take an elixir or something and like stay young.
I don't think I
Oh,
played that one.
I don't remember. It was like an add-on or a cheat code
Yeah.
type thing. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this. But I just, it just reminded me of that. Anyway, Coral Island, it came out in 2022, but it
Okay.
was funded via a Kickstarter, which I thought was very fun because I
Oh,
didn't know
that's
that.
cool. Yeah.
Right? So there was early access in 2022. I joined in 2023 when the actual release of it happened in November. So I haven't been playing this for that long, although I am very proud to say, and maybe it's not like a super proud thing, like Joy in whatever time period this does come out is going to be like, why did you think that was fun? But I just got my town to see. So it starts, and it's like a tragedy has happened to the
Oh,
Coral
no.
Island, and there's like an oil leak, and you're trying to basically like rejuvenate the island and have
Yeah, okay.
everybody be happy again and go around and upgrade the different town things. Like in Stardew Valley, I'm like I was planning on comparing this so hard to Stardew Valley. Now I'm
Sorry.
like, no, you're
But it's
fine.
good too for, like, cozy
Yeah.
detectives who haven't played that one
Yes.
either.
Yes. If you have not played Stardew Valley, there's a specific town area where you kind of rejuvenate it by adding different elements.
Okay.
I'm not describing this that well, but in Coral Island, there is a little part of the island where you go, oh, that this is a way to explain it. You kind of put like for the animals, you put an egg on the like altar, quote unquote, and
Mhm.
then you kind of, once you have your full like your chicken egg and your different eggs, you like unlock things. Is kind of
Okay,
the
I
purpose
gotcha.
of it. So you kind of unlock different parts of things. And the thing I like about this versus Stardew Valley is you can also go into the ocean or like the sea, which is really
Oh,
fun.
well, you can do that in mine and it's so
Oh,
relaxing.
I didn't know that. Yes, so it's fun because you go down there and you're kind of like cleaning up the ocean is a part of
Mhm.
it, and there's like the quote unquote villain, which is like the big oil company or something like that that's trying to turn the island into something. If like the island isn't happy and it's not good, so you're trying to upgrade it. So you start at a town of like F, so it's FDCBA, and I'm not actually sure what happens when you get to A, but each time you upgrade your town another letter, I guess, or grade letter, you unlock certain things. So I just
Oh,
unlocked
fun.
new seeds. I unlocked new
Ooh,
clothing.
I
I
love
unlocked
that.
new animals. So it's very fun. And then you can also mine. So mining is a part of it as well. And there are little creatures, but they're not scary at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say these creatures are less scary than the Stardew creatures.
Okay. Oh,
They're a little
Stardew
bit
creatures are scary?
not as much, but I was expecting the same type of look. I think Stardew just being more 2D and more kind of blocky, if that makes sense. This is kind of
Mhm.
more Disney-esque
Three-dimensional.
vibes. Yes,
Yeah.
a little more bubbly, which I like. And I just appreciate the amount. Like, I feel like they put a lot of details in this and kind of have taken the best parts of different games almost and added it
Mhm.
together. Like, there's a museum that's part of the
Oh
upgrade
my
of the
god,
town.
ours are very actually similar.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it in it because we'll talk about mine and like the burnout of my game that a lot of people felt, but now I'm
Mm.
getting excited for yours because they're so similar, and I'm like, oh, you're
Yes.
selling me.
Yes. And I think the thing I like again about this is that that burnout feeling of just like kind of having to grind through the game to get
Mhm,
any type of like quote unquote acknowledgement or anything like that, or achievement is the word,
mhm.
doesn't feel as hard in this. Like I definitely am not all the way through the game. I mean, I'm only at like a town that's quote unquote like grade C, but
But
I
you're
feel like I've
passing now.
right. I know I'm technically a passing town. We'll see what the oil company does now. Come at me. But I feel like you get more rewards. And I think something like maybe for my personality, I'm not sure if it's a cozy game thing overall, but for my personality, if I feel like I'm just chopping down trees for forever or mining for forever and I'm getting no rewards or I'm getting no
Mhm.
upgrade to my farm or something like that, it's kind of discouraging. So I feel like this game is really good at giving little rewards. Now,
I
the
like
one
that.
thing I will request of the Cozy Detectives, if you know, because I've tried to search it, is there is ways to build your home and like upgrade your home, and not in the way of like upgrading the outside or the look of your home, but like adding furniture. And for some reason my game is somehow glitched
Oh,
in like,
no.
if I put a chest on the ground, I like can't move it if it's in the house.
That's
So
weird.
unfortunately, my house is not cute because it's just little chests everywhere. So I'm like, oh man.
Oh,
So that's the
no.
one thing is like the inside of my house isn't very cute, but you can also cook and there's like so many different things. So outside of that, I really enjoy it. I also just got a goat and I am about to unlock a pig.
Love
and you can
it.
name them. So it is, I think that's why for me it's very cozy, because it's a little bit of an escape, a little bit of you're upgrading the town. It's very that Stardew Valley-esque feel,
Mhm.
but I also like the like customization that you can do in this, in my
Mhm.
opinion, feels a little bit more. So that is my cozy case
Love
file.
it.
It's very fun.
Um, so you said you started playing it in 2023?
It came out for the full release in November of 2023.
Okay.
I've been playing it kind of on and off. Another thing for me that feels I with the cozy games, I feel very in the vibe of cozy games during the winter months. I feel a little bit less like that in the summer because in theory, in theory again, like we were talking about, I'm getting out of the house a little bit more. But
Right,
when it's
outside.
snowy out, I feel like cocooning. So I played it a lot in the last, I guess, quarter. But I'm excited to see what happens when I upgrade my town. But yes, I've been
I
playing it
love
since
that.
about November of 2023.
Yeah, so are you when you play, are you, like, just, like, one character in the game, or do you play as other characters in the town?
That's a great question. You're just your own character.
Okay.
So kind of like think The Sims, but you can't change characters in the family. Like
Okay.
you can kind of switch before, but like if you just have that one character, that's you. And you can go and you can like gift little things and like become like better friends or best friends with different people in the town, but you don't really like change between them.
Okay. So
Do
are
you do
there
that in yours?
no, you just
Oh,
play
okay.
as yourself, but I was because the more you're talking, I'm like, "Man, these games are very similar."
I know. I think a lot of cozy games are just like different flavors of the same game.
For sure, for
Yeah,
sure, and we'll eat them up every time
a
because, like,
100%.
we love it. Um, so with I'm trying to also, like, with the seasons, because my game, we'll get into this, it's very much, like, minute for minute real time. So,
Oh.
when you were talking about, like, year plan, I know that was more Stardew. Is it, like, where the day changes, like, while you're in the middle of the game and, like, seasons are the seasons matching, like, real life, or, like, how does that work?
Ooh, that's a good question. I actually didn't know that your game did that. I think, I know that Stardew, I believe, is 13 or 14 like playtime minutes for a day. This, I
Okay.
would say, feels very similar to that. The negative to this game, I will say, is it only saves when you sleep,
Oh.
which
Oh,
I don't like.
no.
Stardew Valley also does that. And that is like
Oh, no.
the one negative to this, because I have had times where for some reason, like I play on a laptop and for some reason the
Mhm.
laptop became unplugged.
Yeah, it
Nothing
died.
is more discouraging than have to
Oh.
replay a day. You're like, "Oh no, I moved all this stuff around and I organized and now
Start
it's
all
all
over.
gone."
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
But it's about I would say 25, 26 day quote unquote season. And
Okay.
each of those is like the summer, fall, winter, spring. And it's about 13, 14 minutes for a day. So I do
Okay.
like the fact that like you could click in and play for hours and like go through a whole season, or you could play for like 30 minutes and do a day or two.
Okay, I gotcha. That's cool.
So is yours, you said minute for minute.
Yeah.
I'm
I guess
very
I
interested
can
to see what that means.
share mine now.
Yeah, please. I'm so excited.
So mine is probably, at least it was a few years ago, probably the most popular cozy game. I'm doing Animal Crossing, specifically New Horizons, which is the island iteration of the game. So I guess just a little bit of backstory for those who may not be as familiar with Animal Crossing. So it is like a series of games, and they have new iterations that come out every few years, kind of like The Sims. Like there was Sims 1 and 2.
Hmm.
So they originally were released by Nintendo in Japan in 2001, and
Oh,
then in North America in 2002. And so the most recent one, which is the one we're talking about today, is New Horizons. That was released worldwide on March 20th in 2020. So why it was so popular is because it happened right when everyone was like desperate for
yeah.
something to do during lockdown. And it was because you can in game visit other people's islands. So
Oh,
if like
that's
you and
fun.
I were playing at the same time, I could fly and visit you in the game and like chat with you.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that was a really good way for people to connect. Like I know people would have like wedding parties on their island or like
Cute.
birthday parties and graduations, which, with the pandemic, we weren't getting to
Yeah.
do that. So it was just like a really good way for people to connect. It was something for everyone to do. So the game director, I'm going to try to pronounce this. It is Japanese. Is Aya Kayagoku, I think is how you say it. Was the game director. So again, it released in March. I didn't start playing until the end of June of 2020 because I didn't have a Switch, but I was seeing it everywhere. Like I had friends that were on it. It was all over TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Like I feel like just everyone was playing it in the pandemic.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I felt like I saw it everywhere.
so I was just getting really like big FOMO, but then like Switches were sold out everywhere because everyone had it. So I managed to find like a Switch Lite. So regular Switches, you can like hook it up to like your computer or your TV and like have a really big screen, but this was like more just like almost like a Game Boy or like a Nintendo DS where it's just like portable with like a smaller screen.
Oh.
But I was like, that's fine. I can play my Animal Crossing. I am set.
Is it available only on the Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think I, mine is PC, Xbox, and potentially the Switch. I couldn't tell. It was like half the websites I saw said it was available currently, and half the websites said it was about to be available in 2024. So that was
Okay.
another thing. I like the portability of the Switch.
Yeah. That was another thing too, is like, but I think why people could also spend so much time is like you could sit playing on your couch, you could play it in your bed, you could play it in the car. Like technically you
Yeah.
could play it outside. Like you do for some things you need Wi-Fi, but you could really play it without Wi-Fi.
Mm.
So if you happen to not have played Animal Crossing, one of the few, which you are, so I can tell you all about it.
Yes, please. I don't actually know anything
Um,
about it.
oh, cool. It's very similar to yours, actually. So the premise essentially, you are starting a new life. You get by this, like it's called a getaway package or a getaway island from a raccoon. Most of the characters in the game are animals. His name
Oh.
is Tom Nook, and there's like a love-hate relationship with him in the fandom because he's always charging you money and you have to like pay back your debts to him. And so you're like,
I go,
you're just like this capitalist overlord that we all hate but secretly love.
that's funny.
But yeah, so you fly out to your island and kind of the same way. It's not like covered in oil, but there's like weeds everywhere.
Mm.
There's like no civilization. And so you're essentially tasked with starting a new life on this deserted island, cleaning it up. And then you also build like establishments, like you mentioned, a museum. So that's part, you build a museum,
Oh.
a clothing store, a shop, a campsite. And so another aspect are the anthropomorphic villagers in the game. So there's like hundreds of these little characters, and they are all little animals. I think there's like, I don't even know how many species, but there's like alligators and eagles and bears and frogs.
Aw. And they're
And
all like characters you can talk to?
yes, like you can interact with,
Oh.
and there's like they have 8 different personalities from like snooty, snobby, lazy. So, and they're all like, each character is the same in the game. So that's kind of another part of the community is like there's really popular villagers that like everyone wants.
Mm.
But you also kind of form your own favorites too.
Nice. There is one popular, I believe, when I was looking up, like, if you could get married to people on that game, there's one popular, very popular male character. I'm going to try to find his name. You keep going.
Is it Raymond? Is that the one that popped up? Are you talking about
Mm.
the villager male?
The Villager Male in Coral Island.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, Raymond, it was like a very popular villager during the
Aw.
pandemic. He's this kind of like snobby cat. He has glasses, but I think why he was really popular because he had like one like green eye, one blue eye, so he just
Oh,
kind of looked
cute.
cool. He just looked very much like hipster vibes, I think, which is why a lot of people liked him. But yeah,
Mm.
so you invite and you can have up to like 10 total of the little villagers on your island.
Oh, that's fun.
And then you can like customize their houses in your own house, kind of the same way. So you do a lot of like, they're called DIY projects. but you basically have different like ingredients to make them. So your island has fruit and so it has like the natural resources. There's not necessarily mining like you talked about, but there's rocks that you can hit and get like stone and iron and things like that to build
That's cool.
different items. And then they added cooking in later on, so that also kind of became a thing. So you eventually will get up to 10, but they can so this is something different with New Horizons that wasn't in some of the other Animal Crossing games. So in other games, your villager could just like up and leave and like leave a note that they're gone. So you could like be super attached to this villager and then like get on one day and they would like be off your island. So people were obviously like
That's
upset about that.
horrible. Oh my word.
So in this one, they have to get your permission before they leave. So they do have to ask, and you can
You're like,
say
no.
no. They're like, I'm thinking about starting a new adventure on another island, and you can be like, no, stay. But then sometimes like you'll get stuck with villagers that you may not, because there's some scary looking ones.
Oh, like you
Um,
invited them and you decided you didn't want them, but then they're like, I'm staying for forever.
no,
Or...
so the game you start off with two and those are random, and I had this like baboon the first time I played, and you had like to see his like little baboon butt, and I'm like
like not cozy.
um
0 out of 5 stars.
yes, and then I had this like I had like a monkey too, and she just looked really creepy, and so I was like, I got to get them off. But you can't have them leave until you have all 10, so they will stay on your island until you're full, essentially.
Oh, interesting.
And then you can go off for like certain ones. They call it villager hunting, so you go around to like other islands to find other villagers and like invite them to live with you.
Like your friends' islands or just like another island?
No, they're called like I think they're not called mystery islands. That's it in another part. There's so many iterations now with this one because
Oh,
they had like
fun.
a big update in 2021, but they're basically these like I guess they're kind of mystery islands. So you can go they have little like water planes that you get to fly in. So it's just
Cute.
like a random island, and if you have so in order for a villager to populate, you have to have an open spot on your island. So if you
Okay.
have all 10 and you go to a mystery island, there won't be a villager there. But if you have one that's like in the process of like moving out and you have an open spot, then you can go find one. But the problem is because again, the game is played minute per minute in real time. So if you don't get on the next day when you have that open lot, it'll automatically populate. A villager will just move in. So you won't know who it is.
What? So the 24 hours in like the human real world is the same time period as the
Mm-hmm.
game? Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
very unique. That is not
Yeah.
like my game. My game will
Yeah.
like just cease to exist when I'm not
Yeah, so yeah, life goes on without you whether you're playing or not.
playing.
So like weeds will grow back if you're not on for a while. Like cockroaches can get into your house and you have to like stomp on them.
It's giving
Um,
the what was it, the Tamagotchi where it was like
yes,
keep it alive. It's giving game Tamagotchi.
yes, but luckily no one dies, so that's
Yes.
good.
Oh, good. Good, good, good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's minute per minute. So I think that is also kind of where you can really get sucked in because it like obviously time passes, but it's so slow, so you don't realize it. And the scenery is really pretty. It's why I find it so cozy. But like, there's really pretty sunsets. So you're like, if you've been playing all day and the sun starts to set, and you're like, oh no. And then like,
So, is it winter, quote unquote, right now in the game? Since no, it would be spring because we're in spring right now.
yes, so it matches up seasonally with whatever hemisphere you're in. So at the beginning, you'll choose if you're north or
Whoa.
south, and then it matches up. So like, and that's also kind of cool because there's certain like seasonal items and seasonal like DIYs that you can collect during only that time period. And they
Mm.
also have like special events for like holidays. So like Christmas, it's Toy Day, and they have Bunny Day for Easter with a bunny that is actually terrifying. Like it's a whole thing. Like
Oh
everyone's like afraid of
no.
the Bunny Day bunny. He like hides behind a tree, and it's
Pass.
terrifying. Yeah, it's not
On that.
super cozy.
I forgot my game does have seasonal activities as well, but
Oh,
it's
that's fun.
like there's a clean up the island activity, there's a Christmas style activity, there's all of
Mhm.
those things as well, but again, it's in that like 13-minute block.
Yeah, so it's really fast.
Interesting. Because
Yeah,
I
and
could
they
bulldoze through an entire season, but you're that makes more sense to me because I saw a Instagram reel about somebody complaining about winter, and I was like, why don't you just bulldoze through it? Like just push through winter as a season, but you can't. You are
yeah.
in winter.
Yeah, and it's so like it'll their whole island is covered in snow and you can like build snowmen. And like for
Oh.
me, I really like it because we don't get snow. So I'm like, oh, it's snowing in the game. But it does last kind of for a while. So if you're playing it every day, like you can get old, it can get old. And you can technically what they call it time traveling. So if
Ooh.
you change, because you can manually set the time and date in your Switch. So people would do that and like get to certain seasons earlier than they actually happened. But to kind of prevent that a little bit, certain special items wouldn't release until like the actual real date that it would happen. So you could like essentially go to Christmas, but you wouldn't have all like the Christmas stuff happening because it wasn't like released yet in the game, if that makes sense.
Interesting. I can't decide if that obviously it's a very popular game, but I
Yeah.
cannot decide if that for me would be a potential blocker to playing it
Hmm.
because I don't know if I like that I can't go to certain seasons or I can't bulldoze through. Kind of even with The Sims, like you could just
Yeah.
sleep and push it.
Yeah, and I think
Interesting.
so I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, kind of it surged obviously really in popularity in 2020 because of the pandemic and then people really fizzled out and then it had another kind of big push in November of 2021 where it had the last kind of major update. And they did add an extension game, which is called Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, where essentially you get a
Ooh.
job and you go and to another island, a lot of islands, but you can build and decorate custom like island vacation homes for any villager in the game. So it doesn't even have to be the ones on
Aw.
your island, it could be any of them. So it kind of researched. That's when cooking was introduced. But it's I think it get lends to burnout a lot because people can play it for hours and hours and hours and it's very chill. Like if you just want to fish all day or swim or catch bugs, like you can do that. But because it could be very, very repetitive. It's the same thing every day until you really get into a new season. People can burn out pretty easily with it. And I know I definitely did after like a pretty intense, like I did a whole year of the like seasonal gameplay. And then it's kind of like, well, now what? Because you kind of seen it all.
Hmm.
So I think that game is hard for like a super longevity. Like there's definitely people that still play it, but I think it's kind of lost its stance and popularity simply because it's that you can't change seasons
Yeah.
easily. And so if you're tired, like I love the winter time because we don't really get snow and the fall is very cozy in the game, but like in the summer, like nothing really happens. They have some like fishing tournaments, but there's not a lot of seasonal gameplay either. So I think it can lend to burnout pretty quickly. Um, I didn't even say what the like. There's kind of a goal of it because I know you were talking about yours with the like letter grades.
Hmm.
So in New Horizons, you are trying to get stars, like your star rating. So it's very similar. You get 1, 2, 3, up to 5. So the technical like goal of the game is to get just to 3 stars is considered like completing it essentially because that means the in-game musician KK Slider will visit your island and do a
Cute.
little concert. And so after that, you can work towards getting a 5 star. I do really like there's a ton of customization in this game. So you can literally decorate it however you want. You can change items, colors, designs, things like that. So if you have like a vision and a goal for what you want your island to look like, you can spend a lot of time working towards that. But once you kind of reach a point where you're satisfied with the design of yours, unless you change it or mix it up, that's when you can get to burnout because after that you're like, okay, I don't want to touch it. I've got I got it to where I
Yeah.
want it to be. So
Yeah, that's interesting. You can't. You have the towns where they are in Coral Island when you enter. Basically, the town is very similar again to Stardew Valley. The town is all built and all there. Now you can unlock certain things, like you can unlock
Mhm.
certain areas, or in the diving, you kind of progress and unlock parts and areas of the diving, and there's more
Mhm.
characters to unlock. So in that way, you do progress and can customize certain aspects. Now, the main customization is on your farm and the layout and the design of your farm. You can add the like aesthetic part of it, or have it be more just farm animals and plants and things like that.
Mhm.
One thing that is interesting is I really appreciate the like different festivals, and there's like a tree planting, and there's all these
Yeah.
like clean up the beach and all these fun aspects of things. But it would be hard with your game that if you in the, I guess, real world happen to be busy that day, you
You would
miss the event.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And so that's where I think a little bit of the time travel comes in. So, like, if you do
Mm.
miss it, you can technically set your console back. There's a few, like, people that consider that cheating, but I'm like, "Is this a game that you can really cheat at?" Like, no.
Yeah. It's part of
Like
the cozy of it too. Like, it's
right,
not cozy if there's all these rules in it. Like, let
exactly.
me
Like,
run my island.
you're just out here vibing, catching fish, planting flowers.
What would you
Um
say is your favorite part of the game? Because my least favorite part of almost any game is the fishing. I do not like it.
Oh,
I don't like
I
it.
don't mind it per se. So, I would say so in Animal Crossing, you're also kind of a goal is to complete your museum. So that's with
Hmm.
4 things that you can complete it. So there's fossils that you can dig up. Um, there are fish that you catch. So you try to catch all the fish, and that's something too to keep people playing because there are certain critters that you can only catch during certain
Yep,
seasons.
that's the same for me.
Yeah. So the bugs I don't particularly love because there's some that are kind of cute, but there's 3 that can like not kill you, but that you pass out
Oh.
from them, and so
Mm.
with anxiety, I'm always like, oh, it's gonna get me.
Don't
But
sting me.
yeah, there's a wasp that so if you can shake trees and get like branches during the season, you can get like Christmas decorations.
Cute.
Sometimes you can get money to shake from a tree, but sometimes a wasp nest will fall out and then a wasp will come and you have to like grab your net and like try to catch it.
Aw.
And I just don't have the coordination for that. So I get stung almost every time. And then like you can take medicine, but if you don't have any of the materials to make it, like your face like swells up in the game and like your eye is closed.
Oh, no.
And then there's also tarantulas and scorpions that can sting you, and
Oh.
that's a little scary too. Um, so that's probably my least favorite, but I do like the ease of like if you want to grind and like build out this complex island, you can. But if you just want to fish and swim all day, like it's super chill. But I did want to quickly share. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but I made my theme a Gilmore Girls themed island.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
And when we release this episode, so there's in the game to like if you want to see what other people's islands look like, it's called a dream address. So you can like visit their island and like interact with it and stuff. So I'll share mine if anyone still plays and wants to like see the Gilmore Girls island. But I have like different areas. Like I have like a Luke's diner and I have like a little Miss like Patty's dance
So
studio
cute.
area. I have a little hay bale maze. So it's like
Oh
all
my word,
themed
I
out.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so fun because you can customize it to that extent then.
Yeah, because there's just like all the different items, and then like what's cool too is like there's like custom design slots that you can have. So if you want a certain like pattern or design,
Mm.
and people will post like make their own codes and like post
Ooh.
them, so you can like download them and incorporate them into your game. So yeah, mine I had a lot of fun putting that together, and it's funny too because like obviously my Eating Gilmore project wasn't the start of my Gilmore Girls love.
Yeah.
I was working on this before Eating Gilmore was even like a realm of possibility. So
Oh my
my obsession with that show runs very
gosh.
deep.
Same, very much so the same. I visited the
Yeah.
set before anything online. It was just
Yeah.
it was a dream. And it was so funny because it was during the fall time and
Oh,
they
love.
have I which I do love, but at the studio, I don't know if they still do it, but they would do like kind of like a haunted,
Oh.
scary, spooky thing. And
Mhm.
like there's like Lorelai's house, and then it's just like scary next door. And I'm like,
Oh,
well, that doesn't feel like
no.
Star
Not
like
gonna
not like the
lie.
cute but it's like spooky. I was like, oh
Yeah, it's not
no.
like Maury and the gallows
Yeah. I was
just
like,
popping out.
go away from my cozy.
Oh, no.
But oh, I do like that. I feel like that the customization for someone who hasn't played it is
Mhm.
one of the things that I feel like would draw me to the game, and I could
Yeah.
see like that would be probably the high for me, and then the low would probably be the day by day of it.
Yeah, and I think that's very true for a lot of people, and I think too, if you don't have, like, a set vision of what, because I knew
Mm.
pretty early on that I wanted to do a Gilmore Girls theme, but if you're just kinda like my sister played for a little bit, but she was like, "I don't really have any ideas of what I want it to look like." So if you don't have a vision, it can be very overwhelming with all of the options.
Mm.
But there are so many, like, cute things on Pinterest and Instagram, so if you do
That
wanna
is
get
fun.
inspired, those are available. Just a couple, like, really quick things, since m most of our cozy detectives, I don't wanna say assume, but they've probably are at least a little familiar, so I wanted to share a few, like, I guess more behind the scenes. So if people wanted to learn something
Yeah.
new today with our case file, I did some hard hitting investigating. So the game's art director, Koji Takahashi, used what they call a trigger of play philosophy. So essentially, they designed the game to look when you're looking at your island, it's like at a 45-degree angle. So you can kind of see things like in the background essentially. And so they wanted people to be really enticed to play by like, oh, if something happens, like, because your villager can be talking to another villager and you can like see them interacting. And they wanted people to like want to go investigate, not to use our term, but like go see what was going on. And so it kind of helped people stay like in the game because there's like, again, with the sun setting and there's like weather events too. So we talked about it being rainy here. So it wouldn't necessarily obviously know that it was raining where you're living, but you could have like a thunderstorm day on your island.
Mhm.
They do like shooting stars sometimes, like every like once a month
Cute.
you'll get like shooting stars. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It did win a few awards. So it won the Game of the Year for the 2020. Oh, wait, no, it won Game of the Year in Japan, I think in 2020, and then the Family Game of the Year for the Game Awards also in 2020. So it was a pretty popular game. But yeah, that is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yay! I love that. I'm almost positive that mine is an Indonesian company.
Oh,
Is yours a
cool.
Japanese company then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. I just wanna make
Yeah.
sure of that.
And what I love too with some of the like special seasonal events are related to Japanese culture or even like
Mm.
other Asian cultures. Like there's some Korean items. So I like that too because you kind of get to learn about other cultures while you're playing as well.
Yes, very much so. I wanna say yes. So, the developer Stairway Games is an Indonesian company.
Oh, cool.
So, very similarly, there are
Mhm.
different events that are more like that, which is very fun. So, I like
Yeah.
that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I love that there was a lot of similarities. Yeah, and you're making me really excited to try it out. And I do like PC games. That's kind of where I started my, I guess, video game journey was just really
Same.
playing computer games as a kid.
Same. And then I got a PS2, but that was the most high tech of the consoles that I got. So after that, I like the computer games because the mouse and keyboard to me makes sense.
Yes.
The thing I wish that I had in regards to the Switch is the availability to play that on like an airplane. Like that's really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah. The only other really console that we ever had was like a Wii, and I didn't even have that many games on it because we got it like while I was in college, so I wasn't even really able to play
Yeah.
it that
I'll see you at
often.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that coordination with consoles has always been hard for me, but I think if I had like grown up playing on that, I would have an easier time. But I agree with like the portableness of it, like playing on an airplane or like
Mhm.
playing it while you're waiting at the DMV or something.
Yes, that is very nice. I
Yeah.
know. I think one, if my game is available on that, and then two, to try out your game. I love the fact that you can visit other people's islands. I think that is really cute and very unique
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not something that I see in a lot of other games. There another game that's kind of similar to these two is Dinkums,
Oh, I haven't
which
heard of that one.
it's kind of like a very similar like Stardew Coral Island vibe,
Hmm.
but you can, I believe, visit other people's, but that is not as popular as obviously like Stardew. So I
Yeah.
like the idea of visiting other islands and things like that.
Yeah. I do really appreciate though with this game with that it did get popular because I never played any of the other Animal Crossing games. Um, and I know for like true fans, this wasn't people's favorites. Like, I don't know. I think when you grow up with one thing, that's what you tend to love more than the newer ones. But I think this was a really good, accessible way to kind of open up this franchise to the masses because of when it was released. I don't
Mhm.
know if that was when it was originally planned, but they got really lucky, I think, with that and
Yeah.
the success of it, just of the timing. Like, no one obviously could have planned for that. Um, but yeah, I hope you try it out. I think you'll like
Yes. Yes, the Cozy Detectives will have to let us know in the comments if you have played either of these,
it.
if you're planning on getting either of these, and maybe like a favorite character if you play. I feel like that's
Oh,
very fun.
yes, I know. I wanna hear, like, are they called anything in yours? Like, ours are called villagers, but are you like, they called townies or residents or
I think residents, things like that. There's different ones that are very popular. My favorite male one is Mark.
cute?
So the Mark lovers out there, let me know.
Love it.
So yes, it's a fun game, and you can kind of create the world like that. I like the fact that the NPCs are in different areas when you're not there. Like they
Mhm.
talk to each other and do things like that, or like have their own routines. Like that's fun.
Yeah.
Unlike The Sims where I feel like they kind of just freeze. Like, maybe
Freeze.
that's not correct, but it
I think
feels more
so.
immersive.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of cool with this one because so there are also NPCs that will visit your island and they're kind of on a schedule. So
Mm.
one like basically Monday through Friday, every day you'll get like a new NPC and they usually have their own like thing. Like one, it's this like camel and she'll sell you like wallpapers and rugs for your home.
Oh, fun.
There's this one character though, the fox, his name is Red, and he sells paintings, but he also sells counterfeits. So you can try to buy them for because that was another thing for your
Dare you.
museum. I forgot to mention. You also can I don't even think I finished the museum. We got distracted, but there's fossils, fish slash like deep sea creatures, bugs, and then artworks and sculptures. So the only way to get those arts typically are from Red, but
Mm.
he will sell counterfeits. So if you're not careful and like checking to make, and they're real paintings in like the human world.
Oh,
There's actually a TikToker. I think he finished, but he visited every artwork in Animal Crossing in real life. Like he traveled the world to all these different
that's
museums
so
to like
cool.
see them in real life.
Oh
So
my word, I love
I'll
that.
have to look him up and like share it when we release this episode because it was kind of cool to
Yes.
follow along while he did
Oh,
that.
that is so fun. I love that. I love things like that that connect over. It
Yeah.
just feels very fun.
Yeah.
Well, those were our cozy case
Yay.
files. Yay.
It.
So what is your 2% cozier this week?
Yeah, so I kind of teased this a little bit at the beginning, but I went to the farmers market
Mm.
last weekend. It was the first time I went out for the season. Again, it just gets so hot. It like opens up, I think, around like I want to say end of February, beginning of March. Um, and so I always try to go a few times in the spring because once it's summer, like
Too
even early in
hot.
the morning, it's just too hot. But I got this flavored ginger beer that they sold, which is really good. So we got
Ooh.
two. We got like a cucumber mint and a hibiscus one.
Ooh.
So they're really great on their own. If you don't drink alcohol, they're non-alcoholic. But if you want to put them in like a Moscow Mule, they're really good. And then I know we talked about this in our first episode, how I can't keep a plant alive. So I didn't get a plant, but I got a planter. So we're
Ooh.
making steps. But it's this cute little like Volkswagen van from like
Oh,
the 70s.
cute.
And I got it because it reminded me of a book that I read recently and fell in love with. It's called Here We Go Again. And these characters take a road trip across the country in kind of like a similar van. And so it just reminded me of that. And I was like, I have to get this.
Love, love. My two
Yeah.
dream cars are one, the Lorelei / MacGyver Jeep, and then two, a VW bus. So
Oh, love it.
I'm right
Perfect.
there with you. I love it.
Love that.
I
What
love it.
was your 2%?
Mine it's kind of funny because I found it. It's at Sam's Club.
Ooh.
It's a dessert.
Oh, I love.
Basically, I I love a dessert that
Mhm.
even if it's 80 or 90% of like what you would get at the full on expensive restaurant, I'm in.
Mhm.
It's easy, it's affordable, it's awesome. It's a little there's 2 of them. So there's one that's a chocolate mousse,
Ooh,
which
oh,
is my favorite. I'm a chocolate
love.
lover.
Love
And there is one that's a crème brûlée. So they
it.
come in
Is
little
it to die
glass.
for?
I know, it's time for.
Bingo.
That one I don't love as much, but my
Mhm.
husband loves, so it's kind of funny, we each zoned
Have
into
your own
different ones,
dessert.
which I'm okay with, don't eat my chocolate. So, they have a little glass too, which makes me feel all
Ooh,
fancy, like
fancy.
s I know, I'm like, "This is not pudding." So, I have a little mousse, and then I play my game. So, I thought that,
Oh,
like, for
the
the vibes of
dream.
it yes, on, like, a kind of cloudy or moody day,
Snowy
you get
day.
your
Yeah,
mousse, you get your game, you just chill and zone in.
love
So
it.
that is my 2%. I have
Oh,
eaten
fun.
3 of them. I think they come in a pack of 8, I wanna
Ooh,
say.
yeah,
So I am about half the way there, and so far, I love it. I am not the biggest dairy person either,
mhm.
and, like, the fact that my stomach doesn't always love dairy, but this has not messed with me at all.
Oh,
So,
good.
made in
Win-win.
France, it says. So I don't know. Good job,
Oh,
France, I guess.
I trust the Europeans. I feel like
Right?
make food way better quality than
Right? And I always
do.
double check it because it was like French it said something about like similar to French quality or something, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, you have to know for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
I checked on the back and it said it was from France. So I was like, we will buy
Ah,
this. We will buy
yes.
this.
I know, and that's, like, the thing too with, like, once you have, like not to sound pretentious, but, like, once you have, like, European chocolate and then you come back here and you're like, "It's so
Yes.
waxy." It's just not the same. So,
It is
I
very
very understand. Once you find a good, like, European especially French, like, the French do desserts like no
Mhm.
one else.
Yeah. If I'm at the grocery store and I can find like a made in Italy, made in France, or like I think there's the difference of product of versus made in.
Oh, yeah.
I
Do you
think
know
it's
the difference?
I
I
believe
think there is one, but I don't know what it is.
I believe made in means the ingredients are from the country, whereas product
Mhm.
of means it kinda has, like, passed through that country.
Okay.
So, if I'm incorrect on that, let me know, but I'm almost positive that is it, because I was very specific on trying to find the products that have the ingredients from the country. Because even
Mhm.
if you don't get to visit, if you get to enjoy that like, there are some great Asian snacks too.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
so good.
I this was a long time ago now. Like I want to say 2016, I think. I did a subscription box. It's called
Mm.
Try the World, and I still follow them. So they
Ooh.
still exist if our cozy detectives want to try them out. Not sponsored in any way, but
We just like
it
food.
right. It's a subscription box and they send you snacks from like different countries every month. So it was really fun to try, but it was just like one of those things where I'm like, this is an extra expense that I can't really justify. But for the few months I did it, it was really fun. If you like trying new foods, especially like global foods, I definitely recommend it.
Ooh, fun. Yes, I love doing that. I basically, once I'm in the grocery store, try to go to whatever area has
Mhm.
not made in USA
Yes.
just to see. Because
Yeah.
not that everything is bad from made in USA, but I just find it fun to try different foods,
Right.
different things.
Yeah, just exploring what's
Mhm.
out there
Mhm.
and yeah, for sure, for sure. You can find us on Instagram at Blanket Fort Files Pod and be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd appreciate your feedback, so leave us a review and join us next week in the Blanket Fort where we're going to count down our top 5 90s dads in honor of Father's Day.
Yay, I need to watch more 90s
Yes.
movies
I
because I
kind of started my list.
you did? I had my list when I was looking up the 90s moms, and then I feel like I've forgotten it at this point.